Assalamu alaikum. This is the second video on creating database using PHP files. Uh, in this video, I would like to give you another example of creating a database, then create a table in that database using PHP, then insert values and upload the data inside the table, then update some of the data, then display the information on the browser. I have created all files here in this folder. So this folder should be here as you know in the package. Here in the C drive I have examp, then I have htdocs, then I created this folder I called it employee. I would like to create a database about employees and departments. So I'm going to show you these files one by one, but first let us check our database to see if we have a database with that name, employee database, because here in this file I would like to use this code. I have explained this code before, which is this is the connection string for MySQL connect, localhost, then the user root, then the password, which is empty, no password, then if condition, if the connection string is not working, then give me an error message using the MySQL error method that displays the error message with the help with this function die. Here I would like to create a variable, assign it to this name, employees. So my database, I would like to call it employees. I would like to select the database and see if it exists already using MySQL select db, MySQL underscore select underscore db, having the database name variable as an argument. We'll see if this database exists. If the database exists, it will tell me that this database already exists with this name, which is this name. Otherwise, it will perform or execute this command, which is create database command with the name, which is the same name here, employees. So it's going to create database called employees and assign it to the MySQL query, MySQL underscore query, which execute this statement, the SQL statement. Because the SQL statement now is stored in this variable. This variable is going to be now as an argument for my method here. Then if there is an error, it's going to execute the die function, in which is going to give me this error message that it is unable to execute the query, and then the error code with this error number method, having the connection string variable as an argument, and also error message that will be displayed at the same time with the help also with the connection string variable as an argument. And this message is going to tell me the database has been created successfully because there is no error, because the else part now is going to be executing in this part. Then this is one to close the database. As I told you before, it is optional. A lot of things are optional here. In fact, this if statement is optional, I can remove it. This if statement is optional, I can remove it. This die is optional, I can remove it. Even this message is optional, I can remove it. And I can put my statement like that. Even this one is optional, I can remove it. So usually this one by that is going to work. No problem with that. This one, connection, database name, then create the database with this statement, and then execute that command, create database with this SQL string as an argument. But all what we have seen earlier, that I cut it, I removed it, is optional, but it is better to have it so that if there are errors, then you will see what type of errors they have. So I'm going to open it again with everything, and then here it is, if statement to display an error message in case there is an error, if statement in case the database exists already, the else part will execute the statement here if the database does not exist before, then this error message to give you an error message in case there is an issue in the command or something like that. And this is just an optional message to tell me that the database has been created, and this is to close the connection. Alright, let us first, before execute this command, to check the first file here, which is similar to the first file. It starts with a variable that has been assigned to the connection string MySQL connect with the 3 arguments that you know of, which is the local host and the root user and the empty password. You have noticed that in the previous example I have double quotation around host, local host, double quotation around root, and double quotation around the password. So as I told you before, that you can use double quotes or single quotes, no problem with that. If not $link, that means if the connection is not working, if there is an issue, if this one is not executing, if there is no connection has been established, then tell me that this is there is a problem here, and then this one, remove this one, there's no need for that. So if there is a problem, tell me that there is an issue. Otherwise, else, and here you can put else, or you can leave it without else, because automatically if there is no error, if there is no connection problem, then automatically it will go and tell you that here it is connected successfully, and will give you this client information and also the protocol information and the local host information and also the server information, as you will see here in this file. So let me first execute the file from here to establish the connection. Make sure that your server is running here, Apache MySQL. Click start and start if they are not running. You know how to start them, right? I mean, you have to go there to XAMPP and then go down all the way here, and here it is control panel. Double click here, it will open this one. So if it is not starting, start them so that they are both running like that. Alright, let us see how we can connect localhost slash employees. Let me see my server. What is it called? My server is called, I meant my folder. My folder is called employee without what? Without s. Employee without s. And then con is the file that has a connection code. Here it is. So connection successful with all client information, protocol information, and TCP information for the local host, and this version for the server. What is my second file that I would like to execute? My second file I would like to execute is this one, create db.php. Let me open it. Here it is. The first part I have already talked about it many times, which is connection. If connection is not established, give me an error, then declare a variable called db name, assign it to this name, employees with an s. This is my database. If this MySQL select db selected this one, then that means this database already exists. Otherwise, create it with this name, or give me an error message and then tell me the database successfully created. Let me use that name again here. Successfully created the database $db name, which is employees. Let me save it, and then go here and execute the file, which is create db.php. Here it is. Says successfully created the database employees. which is this message. I told you that if the database exists already, let me check to see if it exists. How do I check? I have to go click here in this admin and then check my database and see if employees, it is one of my databases. Here it is, employees. So what happens if I actually try to create it again? Here it is. I refresh, it says database employees already exist because it is already there. If I change the name, let me change the name slightly, employees 2. Alright, and then save it, then refresh. See ya. Successfully created the database employees 2. Refresh again to create it again. Database the employees 2 already exists. And then if you like to check, always go here, check the database, you'll find that these employees and employees 2 are created. So let me remove this one because I don't like it. I would like to work only with this database employees. So my second file that I would like to show you is to create a table into this database. Now currently there is no table found in this database, so I would like to create it using PHP, of course. For this reason I created this code here, which is to check for the connection. As always, this is fixed in all files that I have created so far, and to determine which database I would like to select, which is employees, and then create this one to select this database name, to select it. Or instead of this one, you can remove this one and put employees here between quotation, so that the database selected is employees. Both ways work, whether to create a name and assign it to the database name, or and then use MySQL select DB and put that DB name variable as an argument, or just use MySQL select DB and put the employees database name as an argument inside the method. Then create a database table called depth. Here I would like to assign a variable, to create a variable called DB table and assign it to the department. Depth, I would like to call my table here depth, and assign it to this variable DB table. Then I would like to see if this table already exists or not. I would like to use a variable, call it SQL string, and assign it to the select all from table. What is a table? The table is department. So if this one works, because this MySQL query will execute the already the previous select statement, and then it will check to see if this table with this name exists in the database. So this one will execute the previous query. It has two arguments here, which is the SQL string, the variable that hold the select statement, and the other argument is the DB connect, which is the selection string. Then I will say if query result. What is query result? Query result is the variable that hold the executable statement here. If this is true, then tell me that the table already exists. Otherwise, if it is not existing, then create the table by using this command, create table department. Of course, I'm going to actually assign the whole statement to this variable, SQL string variable. But what is the command? The command is create table depth. I would like to call my table depth, department number, varchar2 primary key. So this is going to be primary key. dname, the second attribute dname, with the second column dname with varchar212, and the third one, the third column is location, LOC with varchar220. So I have only 3 columns in this department table. And then execute always. Whenever you have an SQL statement, execute it with using MySQL query. You have seen this every time. You have a select statement, you have update statement, you have insert statement, you have create database statement, you have create table statement. You will see that immediately after that you have MySQL query method to be able to create that previous statement. So in this one, MySQL query will actually have the 2 arguments, which is SQL string and DB connect, like in this previous one, which are put here in order to execute the previous statement, SQL statement, which is create table statement. Or die means or if there is an error, give me an error message. And as I told you before, this one gives you the error number and the error message. And then if there is no problem with that, then it will give you that successfully created the table. And this one, I will this one, there is no need for this one. I can just remove it. It is an additional statement. There is no need for it. But this is also optional, MySQL close statement. So let me go here and execute this create tbl dot php and create tbl dot, I forgot the dot, tbl dot, here it is. Successfully created the table, and then I would like to check to see if the table has been created. How do I check? Let me go back to my database here and check my database and see if the employees database has a department table. Here it is. This is the department table with the 3 columns that I have already specified in the create database statement, which is the create table statement, which is department number, department name, and location. Then I would like to insert one row in this table, so I would like to show you the insert row statement, the insert row file, which is the same like before, except that instead of create table, I put insert into department values. I would like to insert these values so that the department number is 10, department name is accounts, and department location is Jubail. The rest of it is already, you know it, I have explained it multiple times. And this one is a message that says inserted one row successfully, and this is an optional closing statement for the database server. So let me insert this row by putting the command here, insert row dot php. Here inserted that row successfully, and then I can actually show you the browse. So when I browse, I will see this here, 10 accounts and Jubail. Of course, I told you before that if you have multiple rows, it is better to have them in a table like this. For example, I have many of these departments. So I have 20 sales in a Dammam, department number 30 called IT in Khubar, department number 40 is called admin, it is located in Riyadh, department number 50 called marketing, located in Jeddah. Let me add department number 60, this one located in Ras Tanura. Now what is the name of the department? Okay, department is maintenance. Maintenance, located in Ras Al Khair. Okay, here it is, Ras Al Khair. I would like to save it, and then I would like to upload this data. Alright, how to upload the data? I have also a file that I created that uses the load data local in file. So I'm not going to talk about anything else here or here because this is repeated from previous file. I'm going only to mention this string SQL string variable that hold this command, which is load data local in file. This is the command. Where is the data? The data is located in a file called departmentinfo.txt. Here it is a text file. It is a text file. It says here text file. So you have to specify whether it is a text file or a data file. So if it is a data file, it is going to be with .dat. But if it is a text file, it's going to be with the extension .txt. So the name of that text file is called dept.info. It is located in a folder called employee, which is located in a folder called htdocs, which is located in a folder called XAMPP, which is in the C drive, which is this one actually. This file is here in the employee, in the htdocs, in the exam, in the C drive. So I'm just putting the path name, the absolute path name for this file. Okay, load data into this table department fields terminated by a comma. Yeah, comma, you have to put comma between two single quotation. Lines terminated by a new line, which is /n, like in C programming and C++, and then put also the new line between single quotation. You don't forget that the whole command, it is located between double quotation and double quotation before you end up this statement with a semicolon. Okay, this one will actually load this data into the department, into the depth, table, and you will see that all the data that we have here in this table uploaded. Let me execute it and then see what happens. Load depths with an S. Enter. Data loaded successfully into the department table. Then I would like to look at it here. So I would like to browse. Previously I have only one record. Now how many records? All these records that I have done, that including the last one that I have just added, which is department number 60, maintenance in Rust and Nora. So can I upload the data again like this one, 10 accounts and Jubel? Let me try to execute insert that row again, which is inserted the first one. I would like to check it here. Insert row again, this one. It says unable to execute query because duplicate key, entry for 10. For what? For primary key, because 10 is already there existing as in this table as a primary key. So because I created my table first with a primary key, if you remember, in the create table here, I put a primary key for this one so that it will not allow me to insert data that is repeated. Okay, there is two more files I would like you to see. The first one is update information. This is a small file that actually would like to update, use the update, execute this query using my query. Here I actually, instead of creating a file, a variable, and assign it to the MySQL query, I put the whole statement inside MySQL query, which is doable. You can actually put the whole SQL statement inside MySQL query to execute it straight. What is the statement? It says update department, set location equal to book, where department number equal, let me put for that Ras Al Khair is very long, let me put 60, department 60. So that I would like to change this department from Ras Al Khair to Tabuk, this one. Okay. So I would like to do that. So let me save my file to update the information. So I would like here to update TBL, update table, and execute updated table successfully. Let me check to see if this data has been successfully updated, this one. So let me refresh. Okay, here. The book is being changed from Ras Al Khair. So here I can update, I can delete also, I can delete, here I have a delete statement. For example, I would like to delete department number 60, the last one. So here I can actually execute this statement. I created my connection and everything, and here in my SQL query I said delete from department where department number equals 60. Okay, so let me execute this delete TBL file. So delete the last one here, this one. I know I can remove it from graphical user interface, but the purpose of this video is to show you how you can actually create everything and do all SQL statements using PHP instead of this, because here I can just straight click here and then delete this one. But I told you that the reason behind using PHP to create database in the previous video. So delete department number 60. Let me execute it here. Delete TBL. What is the name? Delete tbl.php. Okay, let me remove that. Delete TBL. Okay, here it is. And updated It's actually not updated, it is actually deleted, I think. Yeah, because if I go here to check my data, okay, database, employees, department, here, browse. Okay, the last 160 is gone, it's no longer there. Alright, so this is to delete it. And the last file that I would like to show you is this file, which is the table info that displays the information on the browser. Here in this one, I would like to get all the data from the department table displayed on the browser, in which I have already selected my database, which is called employees. And then I use my SQL query. I executed this statement, which is select all from department. I would like to select all from department and then create a table. This is or die. For example, you can remove it if you want and put a semicolon here if you don't want this function to execute. But it is always recommended that you keep all the error messages methods, so that if you have an error, you'll see and you will know what type of error. Anyway, this is a table with a border 4 pixels, and this is a table row. I used this style here, CSS style, to make the background light yellow. For what? For the first table head, which is department number, department name, and location. So you will see this one displayed in a light yellow background. And I would like to get the data from the table using while statement and creating a variable called row. You can call it any name. Here I call it $row, to use my SQL fetch array. In this one, my SQL fetch array is this method that actually keep one argument. This argument is in fact this statement, which is already stored in this variable result. So you can use that statement, the whole statement here, the whole statement. You can use it, or you can use a variable that stores the statement. And this variable that stores the statement is called result or $results. You put it as an argument for my SQL fetch array, and then you use tr, only tr one time, tr here and tr here, to close it. But I would like to use td between every single field value. Yeah, for $row department, you take this one department number as an argument between brackets and single quotation, and then you close it here, you open it here, you close it here, you open another one here, and then you have the second row displayed with department name. Also, department name should be between brackets and between single quotes, and then you close it here. And then the last one, we have td opened here and closed here, in which I have row with LOC or location between single quotation inside. And this is to close the table, because the table is already opened here in this line with 4 pixels. Here you have to close it. So if you look at this table, you find that the table is opened here, closed right here, and the first row is opened here and closed right here for the first header or table header, and this tr is open here and closed right here. The only difference is that in tr I use the style to change the background color here to blue, and also I use style here to change it to light yellow. So the data will be displayed in a light blue background, and the header will be displayed in a light yellow color. So let me execute this file and see how the data will be displayed in the browser. What is the table name again? The file name is called table info. So here I have to execute table info .php. Table info.php. Here it is. So here is the table that you see light yellow background, and here this is my table with the light blue, color. If I would like, for example, to delete this one, I would like to delete department number 30 and then refresh again to see what happens. I would like to go there to the file, delete this one and put here 30, and then save it, and then delete TBL. I would like to execute it. So look at this one, 30 IT in Khobar. I would like to delete it. So here I can execute this file again, which is delete TBL, and then the table is been updated successfully. And then let me refresh this table from this graphical interface. So number 30 is gone from here. I would like to check it in the browser. In the browser, I go here and check this file again, which is display table info dot PHP, and here you'll see that 30 is gone from the table. So this is another example, as I told you, to show you how you can create a database, create a table, insert one row, insert multiple rows, like load a lot of data stored in a text file, update a table, and also delete from the table and show the table on the browser. So please check this video again before you do your assignment too.